Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular council meeting of Wednesday, April the 15th. We'll begin, well, first of all, roll call. I see one absent. We will begin with meeting closed to the public.
That council moves into closed session at 6 p.m. for the purpose of considering Director of Legislative Services Report Clerk 15-26, closed session companion report to Clerk 14-26, Chief Administrative Officer Report CAO 21-26 EECC Agreement, and Chief Administrative Officer Report CAO 2022-26 Updated Potential Land Sale. And that consideration of these items is closed to the public pursuant to Section 239-2A, F, and C of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, as the subject matter pertains to the security of the property of the municipality or local board, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, and advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose.
Mover and seconder, Councilor Rosier and Councilor Oslash. Before I call the vote, I want to remind people who are watching, and some may be watching because the agenda was advertised for 6 o'clock. We will be back at 7. So anyway, all those in favor of closed session, that is carried. Thank you very much. So we will recess and until 7 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. We have some resolutions coming out of closed.
That council recessed from the meeting closed to the public at 7 p.m. and reports the following: that council received for information Chief Administrative Officer report CAO 21-26 regarding the EEC agreement, and that council provided confidential direction to the Chief Administrative Officer.
Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Barber, Councillor Chapman. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Next item, item 3, moment of reflection and respect. Thank you. Item 4, confirmation of the agenda.
That council adopts the agenda of the meeting of April 15th, 2026 as amended with the following additions. Attachment to item 6.22 being a presentation regarding the reciprocal use of facilities, and an attachment to item 8.1 regarding a proposed provincial planning reforms under Bill 98 and the Build Community Strong Fund.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, Councillor DesRosiers and Councillor Rahi. All those in favor? As carried, thank you. Item 5, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Item 6, delegations and public meetings. We have a public meeting this evening. We begin with a resolution to enter the public meeting.
Council do now commence a public meeting at 7 p.m. to receive input from the public with respect to the Elgin Incentives and Community Improvement Plan pursuant to Section 17 and 28 of the Planning Act 1990, as amended.
Mover and seconder, Councillors DesRosiers and Deputy Mayor Barber. Okay.
This public meeting is held in accordance with Section 17 and 28 of the Planning Act. The purpose of the public meeting is to consider the draft Elgin Incentives Community Improvement Plan 2026 update, which is a county-wide plan intended to guide community improvement and economic development initiatives within participating communities, including the town of Elmer. Notice of this public meeting was provided in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act. The intent of tonight's meeting is to provide an opportunity for the public to provide comments on the draft update. All comments received will be forwarded to Elgin County for consideration in finalizing the plan. If a person or public body would otherwise have an ability to appeal the decision of the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Elmer to the Ontario Land Tribunal, but the person or public body does not make oral submissions at this public meeting or make written submissions to the Town of Elmer before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision. Council will hear comments in the following order: presentation by the Manager of Planning and Development, the public, and then staff and the clerk.
Thank you. Could the Manager of Planning and Development please provide their presentation?
Okay. Thank you, Your Worship. Hello, welcome, Council. What you have before you is a proposed update to the Elgin Incentives Community Improvement Plan for the Town of Elmer. Owen has already kindly went over the legislative notes, so we'll just kind of move through this slide onto the project. So, there we go. What is a community improvement plan? So, a community improvement plan is a statutory plan under Section 28 of the Planning Act. It allows municipalities to be able to identify areas in need of improvement in their community, sets out strategies for improving these areas, and provides tools such as financial incentives to support such improvements. What is Elgin Incentives? So Elgin Incentives has been in effect with all of the local municipal partners since 2015. It is a county-wide community improvement plan. It offers currently 12 financial incentive programs to assist with a range of improvement programs. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so it provides 12 financial incentive programs to assist with a range of different improvement projects for different areas of land uses on private property and with businesses. The plan is prepared, administered, and largely funded by the county, and it needs to be adopted at the local municipal level to comply with the Planning Act requirements. So, after a decade of having the community improvement plan in place here in Elgin County, it's really important to note that $1.56 million in grant funding has been given out to projects across Elgin County. $9.44 million has been invested by applicants. Of the 287 applications that have been, of the 319 applications that have been received, 90% of those applications have been approved. So that is a huge success rate. And for the town of Elmer, we have 50 of those applications within the last 10 years. So I believe that is quite good. Moving on. Moving on to the project phasing. So I may just get to there. The update to the Elgin Incentives Community Improvement Plan has been split into 2 project phases. Phase 1, which was the background review, that went on from the fall of 2024 to spring of 2025. And then Phase 2, the document update, which has been the past fall of 2025 to winter of 2026. So after the past 10 years of having the Elgin Incentives Community Improvement Plan, it's important for the county to find out what's worked and what hasn't worked. Identify areas in need of update and modernization in the plan, and also realign with current planning and economic development priorities that exist. Background work. So in terms of the background work, some of the key findings from the background review were used to inform the updates, which included discovering that the grant amounts no longer reflect development and labor costs. There is an opportunity and interest in housing programs. This is currently not in the Elgin Incentives Community Improvement Plan. There's a need for clarity and creating a more accessible plan, and financial incentives can be improved. There is a need to explore more ways to attract and support large-scale businesses while supporting our existing local businesses. And lastly, a need for a modern and visual refresh to the document. So in terms of the recommendations, key recommendations were then identified to ensure that the county was on the right path. So the key recommendations were restructuring the financial incentives according to the type of improvement being made, including housing-focused grants, increasing the grant amount maximums from $15,000, introducing municipal leadership initiatives to help guide council with community improvement efforts, and to pursue several what are called quality of life changes to the document to simplify administration and implementation. So in terms of a summary of the updated plan, it's important to note the vision statement is not changing, which states through the Elgin Incentives CIP, Elgin County will provide leadership with community improvement planning by offering incentives to eligible owners and tenants of lands and buildings in key sectors, areas of economic activity countywide. It's important to note, over the past 10 years, the Elgin Incentives Community Improvement Plan will advance the county's economic goals and priorities, assist with improving the built and social environment and the local municipal partners, communities, and support diversification of our local economic base. So in terms of the updated goals include create more affordable and attainable housing options, revitalize sense of place in core areas and main streets, diversify agritourism and rural economic development, improve building efficiency and sustainability of development, and stimulate economic growth and vitality. So, there we go, okay. In terms of updated financial incentives, as I mentioned, there's 12 existing incentives. They have been restructured down to 6 to basically kind of simplify the administration of the program and to better reflect the projects that they would be supporting. There is proposed 2 all-new incentives to support affordable housing and additional dwelling units. Maximum funding per project is determined according to the specific incentive program. Combined total cannot exceed 50% of eligible project costs. It's important to note that all incentives are intended to be administered and funded by Elgin County. Local municipalities may participate at their sole discretion. So in terms of the proposed restructured incentive programs, this includes the facade, signage, and property improvement programs, the brownfield programs, and I just want to highlight with the brownfield programs, this includes matching grants up to 50% for professional fees, up to $10,000. And in terms of the tax cancellation, a 3-year tax cancellation program, as well as a 5-year tax increment grant for brownfield redevelopment. In terms of building improvement, conversion, and expansion programs, it's grant funding to help cover the cost of materials and labor, professional fees, and such things such as planning applications. As well, they're also proposing they're restructuring the 5-year tax increment grant for redevelopment. For building efficiency and sustainability improvement program, again, it's grants to assist with the cost of materials and labor, professional fees, and application fees. For industrial stimulus program, it's being restructured to a 5-year tax increment grant program as well as a 10-year increment grant program. And there are specific criteria that industrial businesses would need to meet to determine if they would fall into the 5-year or 10-year tax increment grant programs. Agritourism and rural diversification program, that wouldn't apply to the town of Elmer, but essentially it does provide funding for materials and labor, professional fees, and applications. Next, new incentive programs. This includes the Affordable Rental Housing Program. This is grants to cover professional fees and application fees, such as planning application fees, as well as a 10-year tax increment grant. In terms of additional dwelling unit program, it's grants to cover materials and labor, professional fees, and applications. Municipal leadership initiatives. This is a new section that's being proposed to the Elgin Incentives Community Improvement Plan. 5 municipal leadership initiatives have been identified. They are not financial incentive programs. They are intended to be flexible, strategic actions that may be considered over the life of the municipality's community improvement plan, subject to council direction, priorities, and resources. So the first one is streetscaping and public space improvement strategy. Some examples could be sidewalk upgrades, public space enhancements, and public art and placemaking projects. Next, we have public land inventory and opportunity analysis. This could be creating a consolidated inventory of municipal county lands on the Elgin County GIS system. Could also include identifying sites for potential for housing, employment, and green space. In terms of brownfield inventory, this could include identifying and cataloging brownfield sites via the Elgin County GIS system, as well as using the inventory for targeted application of CIP incentive programs. Ready to build additional dwelling unit catalog. An example of this could be preparing a catalog of pre-approved or pre-reviewed ADU building designs that comply with their requirements and aligning the catalog with CIP incentives. And our last one is climate change adaptation resiliency. Again, some of the examples of that could be retrofitting of municipally owned buildings and facilities, increasing tree canopy, and naturalized landscapes in the town of Elmer. Okay, in terms of the next steps. So following this public meeting, I am required to provide feedback to Elgin County of any of the comments received from the public as well as from council. And these comments will inform county staff into whether they need to revise the community improvement plan as required before presenting it to county council for endorsement. Once it's endorsed, the final community improvement plan will be forwarded on to Elmer Council for adoption. And at this time, if anybody has any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think I'll open the floor first to members of the public who wish to speak to this. Are there any members of the public who wish to do so? If you do, approach the podium and give your name. I don't see anyone. Has the clerk received any further communication on this?
No, we've not.
Okay. So I think we'll move on then to a resolution to adjourn the public meeting and put the resolution on the floor. At that time, council members can ask questions. Resolution.
That council does now end the public meeting and reconvene at council at 7:14 PM.
Mover and seconder, Councillor Chapman and Councillor Oslach. All those in favor? Good. It's carried. Now, at the close of the public meeting, we'll proceed with the resolution dealing with this.
That report plan 08-26, Elgin Incentives Community Improvement Plan 2026 update form will be received. And that council held a public meeting on April 15th, 2026 to receive comments on the draft Elgin Incentives Community Improvement Plan. And that council directs staff to forward comments received at the public meeting to Elgin County Council to be considered for inclusion in the finalized version of the Elgin Incentives Community Improvement Plan for the town of Elmer.
Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Barber, Councillor DesRosiers. Does council have any questions or comments on this? Deputy Mayor Barber.
Thank you, Your Worship. To Heather, have you had an opportunity to draft your responses to the county as of yet? And if you have, could you share that?
I don't have any concerns with the document as it's been prepared.
Councillor DesRosiers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 questions through you. Firstly, what safeguards are in place to ensure the affordable rental housing program actually results in affordable units, not just market rates with incentives? And the second question I have is, one of the challenges I've encountered locally is a lack of awareness in the program. What is the plan to ensure Elgin Incentives is effectively communicated on an ongoing basis, not just at the launch? And how will it be measured whether that outreach is actually reaching property owners and businesses?
Through you, Your Worship, to Councillor DesRosiers, in terms of the affordable housing, there is a specific list of criteria within the program for what is there's a definition for what meets affordable housing. The individual or charitable group, for instance, that wishes to have the benefit of the Affordable Housing Grant Program or TIG program would have to enter into a long-term agreement with Elgin County. There would be regular annual updates that they would have to provide to Elgin County to ensure that those affordable housing units are still, in fact, remaining affordable. Yeah, there's more specific details within this as well.
Good.
The second question, in terms of advertising, getting the message out, as staff, I have always tried to, when I have a planning application, someone come and inquire to me about a business, a change of use, I always try to direct them to Elgin County, to Carolyn Cron and her team, if there's an opportunity for them to be able to take advantage of any grant funding. I know for ourselves here at the town, this public meeting was published also on Facebook. We do have a dedicated page all the time on the town's website under, I believe it's under Planning and Development. We have a dedicated page. I can as staff, we can put out regular kind of letting people know about it. I can also convey that message to Carolyn as well, and find out exactly what their publicity proposal is.
Good.
If I may follow up, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think those are great plans, and I think it should be effectively communicated to the county. Another suggestion would be ensuring that the economic development resources that we do have in town, such as the BIA, such as the Chamber, that they're also aggressively marketing it and informing businesses so that they are aware. I think it's a big burden to put on our staff, so I think it should be a shared responsibility, not only in the town, but also with the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Barber.
Thank you, Heather. Quick question. Affordable used to mean 80% of the current market rate. Has that changed at all, or if you're familiar with that?
Perhaps I can assist. I don't know, does it say? Oh, it's in there, okay. I know I was in a presentation with the CAOs where the consultant who was doing it discussed it, and they said that there was still going to be some determination on those things, but if it's in,
Okay, so it's in the community improvement plan document that's being proposed. So in terms of affordable rent, it must be, it looks like less than or equal to 80%.
Okay.
and I think the thing that still needs to be determined and will be finalized after the county is whether that's going to be the London region, or if they're going to look at workforce. That's still a bit up in the air.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, we have a resolution on the floor. I call the question. All those in favor of the resolution? Again, all those in favor of the resolution? Is carried. Thank you. Item 6.2, I have another delegation, but first we have a staff report relating to the delegation resolution.
That report, Recreation 01-26, entitled Reciprocal Facilities Use Agreement, be received for information, and that council directs staff to proceed in extending a one-year reciprocal facilities use agreement with the Thames Valley District School Board for the 2026 to 2027 years to expand to the community use of local schools in the Thames Valley District School Board.
Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Barber, Councillor Chapman. And Susie, you're on.
Good evening, thank you. And through you, Mr. Mayor, to members of council, the public, and our delegates here tonight. The purpose of this report is to share the results of the pilot agreement with the Thames Valley District School Board and to seek approval of council to extend a formalized agreement for the 2026-2027 school. The pilot agreement has been successful and has enhanced access to recreation and community spaces for both students and residents. So what this agreement does is allow shared use of facilities between the town and the Thames Valley District School Board, specifically East Elgin Secondary School, with regards to this report. The school gains access to town assets such as arenas, parks, trails, and community spaces. And in return, the town gains access to school gymnasiums, change rooms, and program spaces within the school. Some of the highlights from the pilot program that I'll touch on just briefly, I know you'll hear some more detail in our upcoming delegation, is that the East Elgin Hockey Program has successfully launched its first year with strong student participation across both semesters. We saw students using the East Elgin Community Complex regularly since September, who may otherwise not have had an opportunity to visit the complex 3 times a week. Intern community programming has made a presence at the East Elgin Secondary School. So weekly Friday night programs, including pickleball, badminton, drop-in basketball, have been offered, with approximately 400 participants having attended between September to March. Quite often seeing families attend, it being a recurring Friday night outing for families, which has been really nice to see. This program, certainly a big highlight has been the improved accessibility and exposure to local facilities for youth and families. This reciprocal agreement is important because it supports the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. It expands access to indoor recreation space, addresses the lack of municipally owned gymnasiums. As you'll see tonight, strengthens community partnerships and provides inclusive, low-cost recreation opportunities. As you'll see in the report, these agreements are typically cost neutral. In this case, which means there's no rental fees exchanged between partners typically, but we are recommending, as we did in the pilot, to maintain the $6,000 budget allowance, and that provides flexibility if the usage is not exactly balanced. That really refers to the reciprocal use of ice at the East Elgin Community Complex, whereas the town would subsidize the other half of the ice that we would that we can't certainly include in the agreement on behalf of our partners. So what we're looking for are, the current agreement expires June 30th. We did a lot of heavy lifting for the pilot agreement, so any changes, we've worked with the school board and our partners at East Elgin Secondary School to make required amendments that are attached for council's approval tonight. And I believe we're in the position where we're ready to move from a pilot to a one-year renewable agreement, with the hope that we'll expand to a multi-year agreement in the future and also expand the schools that will be included. So in closing, this partnership's proven to be valuable, a valuable, low-cost way to expand programming and access, and staff recommend continuing and building on all of this success. And I'm happy to answer any questions council may have.
Thank you very much. Council, any questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Barber?
Thank you, Your Worship. To Susie, two partners having facilities that the other one doesn't, to share it just makes sense. Thank you.
Councilor Rahi?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's going to be very similar to Deputy Mayor Barber. It's fantastic, and I like seeing this stuff where multiple different groups can collaborate with different infrastructure that they each have, and it makes really good sense. And hopefully it gets to a point where we can just get a quick update and then be good for another year or 2 years or 3 years. But good idea, and I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad it's working, so thanks.
Councilor DeRosier?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The pilot shows participation in activities such as pickleball, badminton, and basketball. Through you to staff, are there any plans from the town to expand the range of recreational programming for 2026?
Susie?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor DesRosiers, thank you very much for asking that important question. And thank you to council for supporting the conversion of our part-time recreation position to a full-time community recreation and culture programming position. And that's one of the main deliverables of that position too. I know Taya's been working pretty hard to come up with some fantastic ideas to enhance that programming. We've got some pretty exciting access to spaces. There's some programming rooms that are very versatile. There's some there's a weight room. There's a bunch of programming that you'll see come in the future. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution, and that is carried. Thank you very much. We have next a delegation by Dave Chisholm, who is principal of East Elgin Secondary School, and Derek Folkhart. So, gentlemen, approach the podium. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, council members and public, for inviting us to be here this evening. Just want to go over a brief overview about the reciprocal agreement from our perspective, provide you with a description of how the hockey program worked, what facilities our school is certainly accessing across the community, and areas that are being accessed by town, and a vision for future use as well. So. We certainly recognize the benefits of having the reciprocal agreement, not just for the opportunity to access the ice for the hockey program, but a wide variety of other facilities that are currently and have been used by the school for a number of years. We certainly are welcome to providing the town with high priority usage of our facilities as well in reciprocation. So it does provides a good, strong, and partnership between the two.
We'll transition now, and I'd like to share the success story of the East Elgin Hockey Focus Course, albeit this program has only been running for 1 year. I think after we read a few of the student testimonials, we can agree that the work that we've been doing here is really impacting the youth in Aylmer. So, to recap, last February, we came here on a cold, snowy, and probably very rainy night in February, and we asked for 3 hours of ice per week at the East Elgin Community Complex to support a hockey-centric health and phys ed course. So a course designed in which students can earn their grade 9 and grade 10 health and phys ed credit while playing hockey and learning about health and fitness, needed to live and lead a healthy, active lifestyle in their future. Since then, East Elgin has used over or close to 50 hours of allocated ice to deliver an enhanced and unique learning opportunity for its students in the program. And to date, 27 students have benefited from your commitment to the youth and sport, and this is what they have to say about it. I think for the first year of the hockey program, it was really well done. Getting on the ice in the morning was a great opportunity. Not only did the on-ice drills help me improve and grow as a player, but off the ice as a person too. Off the ice, I was able to learn healthy living skills as an athlete. As a female hockey player, the small class was much less scary to participate in. And when I talked to this student, Gabby Taylor was actually a grade 9 student, and she said that quote to me, I was moved a little bit, because there are statistics out there that support around the age of 16, 1 in 5 girls are leaving sport. And when I read that quote and I hear that quote, that's someone who's going to be staying in sport for a while. That's someone who is going to be coaching in our community later in life. And that is someone who has found a meaning and purpose through sport as well. So I found that one to be very impactful. These other two come from 2 grade 9 students as well who took the course. Nate Fitzgerald said that the course was really fun, and I got to not only expand my hockey skills, but also have fun with my friends who took the course as well. I enjoyed the fitness workouts and team building activities that we did when we didn't have the ice. Reese Nelson said, I saw a lot of improvement on the ice in games and practices. The course also offered a good balance of fitness and healthy living. All around, the hockey program was a good course for me to take, as it offered me helpful skills on and off the ice. And these 2 quotes are really important because in a 2025 report from Canadian Tire Jumpstart Charities, they stated that the 3 main reasons youth participate in sport are playing with friends, having fun, and learning new skills. And I believe that those 3 values and reasons for children to participate in sports are highlighted in those 2 quotes. The last student testimony I'll share with you comes from Mason Matthews, a grade 10 student. He said that taking the hockey course helped him build his confidence on and off the ice. Taking the course allowed me to feel more confident in my leadership skills. I was also able to improve my skating and stick handling skills throughout the semester, and be on the ice 3 days a week is something that I will remember for a long time. Now, this strongly ties with the strategic priority pillar number 1 set out by the town of Elmer, which is creating dynamic and inclusive communities by creating lasting memories for youth and engaging youth to become community leaders. So I think it's safe to say that the work here we've done in this reciprocal agreement is benefiting the youth, just based on these testimonials here. We'll transition now, and I'll let Mr. Chisholm come back and talk about East Elgin and the uses of community spaces.
So yes, as I mentioned, a number of facilities are already being used by our staff and students. Steam Park for phys ed and disc golf. Our developmental education classrooms do community walks all the time at Crystal Park. As mentioned, the hockey program is based out of the complex, as well as all varsity hockey teams as well. Kidsland Park, a variety of activities, programs are based on there, not just leadership and GABA, so that's our Girls and Boys Athletic Association, who help transition incoming grade 9 students into the school and provide leadership opportunities for those grade 11s. Again, developmental education classes use the baseball diamonds and playgrounds at phys ed, and other clubs and teams use the facility as well. We have heard and are certainly open to exploring additional opportunities and ways we can connect and strengthen this relationship, and those are some of the opportunities that we have highlighted. So the outdoor band shell, spring and summer coffee house. So we will start making those connections with our people so we can reach out and explore some other opportunities, but also the Old Town Hall Theater by our drama and dance would be a nice off-site location to run some activities and performances. Do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Moving forward with the hockey program for next year, we have one class next September that will involve 20 to 27 students enrolled. This will again be a co-ed class, so it'll encompass both male and female students. And then 3 days of on-ice instruction at the East Elgin Community Complex is what we're still asking for. We'd like to maintain that at this time, and hopefully on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to accommodate the current needs of the East Elgin Community Complex.
And just, these are some of the photos of the spaces that we have available. The large gym, which I was just here right before, and there's, for example, 8 to 10-year-olds playing basketball right now. And I'm seeing generational teachers, second-generation teachers on the benches coaching. So it really is a community atmosphere at the school right now, playing basketball and learning those valuable skills. In one gym, in the small gym, we have a volleyball club using the facility right now. So that's really exciting, and those are the spaces that are available when we're not using them. And Town of Elmer has given top priority over that through the community use agreement. We also have a fitness room and dance studio available as well on site. Those are kind of our phys ed areas that we can use, that you can use, but certainly all other areas, facilities can be used as well through our school and through the community use agreement process. So yes, in summary, we'd like to thank the Town of Elmer for this opportunity. We certainly endorse and highly recommend that we continue to support the program for another year, and we are also looking forward to a multi-year plan as well. Want to say?
No, just thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm impressed with your ideas for everything, including the band shell and the old town hall. Good work. Council, questions, comments? Councilor DeRosier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, I have two questions. One, firstly, to our presenters, and then secondly, to staff. Mr. Chisholm already somewhat touched on it, but other opportunities beyond sport-related spaces. The school has a very modern and updated library space that includes meeting rooms as well as the lower mezzanine area of the library, which would be good for presentations. Additionally, I call it the CAF still, I don't know if it's still called that. Are those spaces technically available to the public? So that's my first question.
Yes, all those spaces are available through community use process. So part of that process is that any request for facilities would go through the website, and the point person at the school would be our office manager. And we have already communicated that Town of Elmer gets high priority, so above and beyond other requests, to make sure that if that space is available, it will be an opportunity for you to utilize that.
For a moment, if I can piggyback on what Councilor DeRosier just said, you still have a sound studio and a broadcast studio that could be
yes,
used?
we're still running communications that runs morning announcements throughout the school, yes.
Good. Councilor.
Yeah, it's now a green classroom, basically, with a green wall, so.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for asking. That was a good point, too, that I missed. So I guess the second question then that I have is we've been doing this for a year, and it doesn't really seem to be a lot of public knowledge beyond what programming the town is offering. So if this is available to the public, I think there needs to be a better process for maybe communicating and being more visible about this opportunity. So is there something that the municipality can do to ensure that this is being communicated so they know how to access it?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor DeRosier. So there's two different pieces to this. The Community Use of Schools program is an initiative through the province that's opening up these community spaces. So that would be something that would be a function of Thames Valley to make sure they promote. We certainly can municipally promote use of schools. East Elgin can do the same to spread that awareness. What we can do our piece of that is using that community use of schools avenue to get in, kind of get in queue, make sure that we've got that pole position, so when those requests come in, that the town of Elmer does have that priority, as Mr. Chisholm had said, for those requests. So you're right, there's a ton of fabulous spaces, and hopefully, we've got some folks watching and listening tonight, and through advocacy of council and the school and the school board, knowledge of those spaces being available to the community will be even more widespread. But we're happy to spread that message through our work too.
Okay, anybody else? No, well, thank you very much for that presentation.
You.
We have a resolution.
That the presentation from Dave Chisholm and Derek Folkard regarding the reciprocal use of facilities be received for information.
Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Barber, Councilor DeRosier, all those in favor, as carried, thank you. Item 7, which is a consent agenda, which includes communications and minutes, resolution.
That the April 15th, 2026 consent agenda be received for information, and that the included recommendations within the staff reports be adopted, and that council approves the minutes of the regular meeting held of council on April 1st, 2026.
Mover and seconder, Councilor Chapman, Councilor Oslach. Any comments, questions from council on any of those items? Councilor Chapman. Microphone, please.
Item 7.1.2, Elgin County Social Service Presentation. I encourage everyone to look over this. I requested that it be put on tonight's agenda because in past meetings, we had said that we hadn't had contact from them. This is actually the report that was sent to the county in November, and I have requested that social services continue to keep us updated on a regular basis.
Very good, thank you. I keep asking them myself, so it's very good that they do that. Any comments or questions from council? No. Anything further from any of those items? Seeing none, all those in favor? That is carried, thank you. Item 8, action item. First item 8.1, Manager of Planning and Development, resolution.
That report Plan 1026, proposed provincial planning reforms under Bill 98 and the Build Community Strong Fund be received, and that that staff be directed to prepare and submit comments to the province with council direction during the consultation period for open environmental registry of Ontario postings as discussed in this report.
Mover and seconder, Councilor DeRosier and Councilor Chapman. Heather.
Thank you, Your Worship. The province has given 2 readings to Bill 98. It's called the Building Homes and Improving Transportation Infrastructure Act. The government is requesting public feedback on Bill 98 and related regulatory changes to further support housing, economic and infrastructure development, and advance key transportation and transit priorities throughout the province. To also assist in implementing Bill 98, the federal and provincial governments have separately announced the Building Community Strong Fund. So in terms of Bill 98, there is multiple pieces of legislation the province is planning on amending. The pieces of legislation include the Ontario Building Code, the Planning Act, Development Charges Act, Municipal Act, wastewater and water legislation, and this is supported by multiple ERO postings with various dates, either April 29th or May 14th, that comments must be submitted by. So in terms of the Ontario Building Code, the province is looking at streamlining and trying to modernize the Ontario Building Code. It's noted that the Building Code has grown over the years. They're wanting to see if there is an ability to reduce the size of the building code while still ensuring health and safety requirements are still being met. In terms of the Planning Act, the province is looking at clarifying site plan rules. They are proposing some pretty extreme things, such as eliminating site plan agreements altogether for certain developments, and also looking at potentially just limiting what municipalities can request for mandatory site plan approval requirements. A lot of it's focused on removing designs, anything to do with energy efficiency, and green elements as well. Moving on to official plans, the province is looking at standardizing the official plan structure and official plans for municipalities across Ontario. What this would mean is it would, the province would provide a list through a regulation of standardized land use designations, as well as the type of official plan schedules and how they're supposed to look for official plans for municipalities. As well, they're also looking at changing the secondary plan process. As well, with official plans, the reforms with official plans, this would also allow the minister to exempt lower tier official plans from conforming to upper tier official plans. So that is a very key point they're proposing. In terms of complete application requirements, the government is wanting to see all planning applications be submitted fully electronically, no paper submissions whatsoever. They're also wanting to establish a list of kind of studies that can only be submitted for applications. In terms of parkland dedication, the province is looking at broadening the criteria for parkland dedication. Essentially, it looks as though there could be more pieces of land that municipalities may have to accept as parkland that would have encumbrances on them. Also, the province is looking at establishing the process for arbitration for parkland. In terms of site plan control, the province, I already talked about that, my bad. Moving on, minimum lot sizes. Bill 98 is proposing to have a regulation in place which would allow the minister to create a regulation to propose a minimum lot size of 175 square meters for urban fully serviced communities. In terms of the Development Charges Act, for development charge exemption, the province is proposing development charges to be exempt for nonprofit retirement homes. This is adding to the other similar exemptions that can be found in the Development Charges Act, for instance, for affordable housing. In terms of development charge relief, as I mentioned, the federal and provincial governments have announced the Canada-Ontario Partnership to Build Homes, Transit, and Communities. This is a joint infrastructure funding program designed to support the delivery of housing-enabled infrastructure, including water, wastewater, transportation, transit systems. It's $8.8 billion of funding over 10 years, split evenly between the feds and the province. And this funding would only be provided to municipalities that cut their development charges by up to 50% for 3 years. It's my understanding the province and the federal government will agree on a list of priority municipalities where the development charges are seen as being cost prohibited. Municipalities are also expected, municipalities that are required to reduce their development charges are also expected to separately support development charge reductions. It's important to note, it's a precondition that municipalities must cut the development charges to receive any assistance. I think it's important to note as well that the government hasn't provided any further, any framework on how this is going to happen with development charges and any further information. I suspect there will be more information come once Bill 98 receives royal assent. In terms of HST rebates, this is an important one. The government is eliminating HST for any new homes valued up to $1 million. This is a great support to our building community here in the town, any of our new homes being constructed. As well, they're providing similar declining value rebates for homes that are greater than $1 million. The province is also looking at the disclosure of municipal development charges and other previously hidden taxes and fees in new home agreements of purchase and sale. So homeowners know exactly what are all the fees, what are the municipal fees, what are the municipal development charges, so there is no hidden costs from the developer. In terms of implications for the town of Elmer, this will provide opportunities for streamlined development approvals. It does, however, reduce municipal discretion over development standards. And in terms of official plans, it takes away a municipality's ability to create their own unique official plan that is created, specifically for that municipality, that reflects their needs, their historical values, their culture, et cetera. So that is, in my opinion, a loss of kind of an identity through what they're proposing with the changes to the official plans. They're also changing things in terms of procedurals and bylaws. There's also an increased risk of arbitration and provincial intervention in what Bill 98 is proposing. So in terms of recommendations and next steps, the posting, there's a commenting period, basically anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, where comments need to be submitted based on the different pieces of legislation. My recommendation is that town staff be able to prepare comments based on council direction, and that we continue to monitor this policy and funding opportunities/concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. County Council had a report on the same thing yesterday, and yours is better. Thank you. Any questions and comments? Deputy Mayor Barber.
Thank you, Your Worship. It appears that the province is taking a bazooka to a land development issue that perhaps a Fleischwater could have looked after. There are municipalities that I'm sure that are using development charges and land use planning. Elmer doesn't appear to be one of those. Our staff and the policies that have been generated to guide development are very much amicable working arrangements in most of the instances. To go from 370 square meters for a residential property to 175, you're cutting the property in half. What will be the end result to the owners of that property? Are we just going to get a lot of matchbox-looking little houses on tiny, tiny little lots? I'm looking forward to seeing the comments that staff puts together, not to shoot down the whole intent, but to at least express concerns on certain sections. Thank you.
Councilor DeRosier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Reviewing this policy, the biggest concern that I have is the financial implications of it. What specific strategies would the municipality use to address the resulting funding gap?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I think, well, you'll see on our agenda later on that we have the DC Reserve Report. And one thing that is certainly of a benefit to the town is that our DC reserves are in, I'd say, a healthy position. So for a 3-year, if something does come out and it's imposed as a 3-year DC reduction, we're generally better positioned than a lot of other municipalities to address that. But at the same time, there could be an announcement made where we're excluded from any funding program, in which case we could have to actually consider a residential DC's reduction just to try to keep pace and to show that we continue to be a developer-friendly community. And we'd get no funding whatsoever for that. So it's unfortunate that we're forced to have a race to the bottom, potentially, that could have longer-term impacts on taxation, because that's, if you reduce DCs, that's where it comes out, is on taxation in the future. It's unfortunate that we're placed in that situation when growth is strong and we still have strong development in the town of Elmer, but we're being lumped in with the other communities that have very slow housing starts, and I guess this is the province's reaction.
Okay. A follow-up?
So just to simplify what was just said then, the specific strategy would be to draw from our current DC reserves, or it would be placed on the tax levy?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think our reserve position is relatively healthy. The thing with reserves in DCs is they can only be used for specific projects related to growth. So it's hard to say when we've got the different accounts which one would be hit at which time, and when the tax impact would actually be felt. But at some point, we calculate those DCs correctly, and they are an estimate of what the future long-term cost would be. I don't foresee that there would be an immediate taxation impact. We can weather the storm longer than most municipalities.
Other comments? Councillor Chapman?
Thank you. My biggest concern is that this will create, it will make communities lose their identity. Every community you go to will look exactly the same. Very tiny lots, very smushed together. There would be no individuality, and we would have no purpose if we're not allowed to do the planning that it's done for us. So it takes away the characteristics of a community. That's my biggest concern.
As Heather mentioned, there's not a lot of detail in this proposal for Bill 98, and the devil is in the detail. So one of the comments that I think is significant for our council to make is that requesting the province not to go ahead and put the details in the hour before they present it to Parliament so that we don't have an opportunity to comment on the details. I would hope that they would take our comments and then give us back the details as much as they can. We can comment on those as well. Because I'm looking at one item that hasn't been mentioned. You did mention it, though, is that I think the province is going down a very slippery slope when it's allowing private contractors to do water and wastewater. Because once you do that, and I'm sure you can understand that, and I think this bill allows that kind of possibility, doesn't it?
Through you, Your Worship. So, yes, the one bill I didn't really touch on, I didn't talk about, because it doesn't impact us and the way in which we deliver water and wastewater services, was, so the impact would be, there'd be an amendment to the Water and Wastewater Public Corporations Act. So it's my understanding it would allow for a company that would still have to be publicly owned, could still own and deliver water and wastewater services. Is that, am I understanding that correct, Terry?
Yes, that basically sums it up.
I think, it's not going to impact Elmer now, but in 15 years, or 20 years, we run out of lagoons, that kind
Potential.
of situation could be terrible. So, I don't know. I'd like to see some kind of comment on the fact that let's beware of allowing this kind of situation to develop. All right. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution, and is carried. Thank you. 8.2, Deputy Clerk, amendments to Community Grants Program Resolution.
The report clerk 1226 regarding amendments to the Community Grants Program be received for information, and that council approve changes for the Community Grants Program to be adopted by bylaw at a future meeting, and that council approve the implementation of the amended Community Grants Program for the 2027 grant cycle.
Mover and seconder, Councillor Rahi. Seconder, Deputy Mayor Barber. Owen.
Michelle will be presenting.
Thank you. So tonight, this report.
Sorry, Michelle.
It's okay. This report proposes amendments to the community grants program and is presented with the goal of improving clarity, consistency, and alignment with strategic priorities. For some background, we do have bylaw 53-21 in place, which is the current municipal grants and donation bylaw. And the intake for community grants occurs each fall in alignment with annual budget deliberations. We have an outline of the various grant streams that are currently available. And staff have highlighted some of the key issues with this current bylaw, namely that it is missing a scoring tool that would guide evaluation and support consistent funding decisions. Additionally, the program has limited opportunity for council input prior to funding decisions. So this draft policy that we're presenting this evening is an opportunity for some meaningful council input earlier in the decision-making process through a time-limited committee structure. To speak to the Community Grants Committee, the goal is that they would meet once per year to review grant applications, evaluate year-end reports from repeat applicants, consider staff analysis, and formulate funding requirements. This committee will allow council members to examine applications in depth and provide an opportunity for organizations to make delegations in a slightly more informal setting. It will promote discussion and allow for amendments to recommendations before they're submitted to the Finance Committee. Speaking to the scoring tool, we're introducing this to make it easier for both staff and the committee to form a recommendation. Each section of the rubric is tied directly to the application questions and also then to recommendations for full funding, 75%, 50%. We've made some updates to the grant streams and the funding parameters. We're looking at 3 streams. First, the community event grants, which provide funding between $500 to $5,000 to support community-based events. Community project grants would be one-time funding ranging from $2,500 to $15,000, and this would be for defined projects with clear deliverables. And then we have capital works grants, which provide one-time funding ranging from $10,000 to $25,000 for capital assets or infrastructure delivering long-term community benefit. It's important to note that the town will continue to support organizations through in-kind contributions, so that could be the use of municipal facilities or resources. We would just have consideration through the available streams to do this. One of the areas we've looked at to try to streamline things is to recommend that all successful applicants submit a brief year-end report confirming the use of funds and achievement of outcomes. And this is purely for ensuring that the funded initiatives deliver clear community benefit. For our past applicants, repeat applicants are expected to still experience success with minor adjustments to their submissions. There may be some applicants that need to substantially reframe their requests, but we do consider that transition to be manageable before the 2027 intake between staff support, communication, working with repeat applicants to adjust their applications in advance. We just have a short note on the new term and the strong mayor considerations. So staff are recommending that the intake process for the 2027 budget approvals be using this new policy. The incoming term of council will consider incoming applications as part of the 2027 budget process. And committees of council can be formed at the discretion of the mayor unless the mayor chooses to delegate that authority back to council. Adoption of this report will serve as a recommendation to the incoming mayor and council on how to best organize the review of applications. Council has been very generous over the course of their term. Funding has amounted to approximately $240,000 during this time. Council often approve more than the staff recommended amounts, and the proposed changes provide mechanisms to ensure that the town is recognized for its support and that funding is directed to initiatives that demonstrate clear need and community impact. And if there's any feedback.
Okay, thank you. Council, any questions or comments? That's a very good report, Michelle. In fact, it shows the other municipalities of this area how to do this, because we're very good at generating grants and providing grants for needies, and I think we're the top of the list in terms of providing support for other communities, so thank you. All those in favor of the resolution? If I can say that correctly, all those in favor, again, please. Against? Carried. Item 8.3, Director of Financial Services, resolution.
That report, Finance 06-26, entitled DC Reserve Statement 2025, be received for information.
Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Barber, Councillor Chapman. Heather.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you into members of council, this is a standard yearly report. I just wanted to summarize the report overall. So the DC reserve balance opening for 2025 was 4.259 million. That was total residential and non-residential DCs, with the addition of 1.63 million for residential and 221,000 for non-res. And with the withdrawal of where are we at here? 1.34 or 1.389. The ending balance, or 1.369, sorry, the ending balance is 4.931. So future capital needs for growth, upcoming, pretty exciting right now. Terry's working on the design for the connectivity for the trail expansion. We're also, Terry, myself, Heather, Susie, and the entire management team are working with Watson right now to go through the new DC study. So we're identifying areas for improvement for active transportation on Myrtle South, Pine, Victoria, which are all coming up in the capital plan. Signalization in some of those areas, expansion of the police station, public works fleet. So that's how our new trackless will be paid. And then potential building expansion in other areas for growth-related studies are coming up. So we are using these DCs. This is just the yearly statement, and these are everything related to 2025 was projected in the prior DC study.
Thank you, Heather. Just to be clear, if the DC list or build or report doesn't include an item, we cannot use DC money for that, correct?
Correct. So we're raising DCs for currently from 2021, we're raising DCs that were in the prior study. That said, if we identify projects that are, for the trail connectivity or for the police station or for something that the estimates are coming in higher, those estimates are going back into the new study and the calculation is recalculating. So for example, if the trail comes in at higher or lower value, that money will either stay in DCs or it will be raised in the next DC study. And if we have enough money for in the DC reserves, we won't issue debt for it. If we don't, that's where the calculation comes in to issue debt, or however, the DC reserves can pay for the debt also. So we can't just pull projects out of the air that we'd like to do and use DCs for it.
Okay, thank you. Council. Deputy Mayor Barber.
Thank you. Just a comment to Heather. One number you didn't mention was interest earned, $157,000. Not bad.
Anything else? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. 9. Is there any new business or matters of urgency? None. Reading of bylaws, resolutions?
That council gives 3 readings to and approves. Bylaw 31-26 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 43-24 being a bylaw to adopt the delegations of powers policy. Bylaw 32-26 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council held at the regular meeting on April 1st, 2026, and Bylaw 33-26 being a bylaw to dedicate certain lands as part of the highway being the removal of a 0.3 meter reserve.
Mover and seconder. Councillor Chapman, Councillor Oslach, any comments or questions on any of these? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's carried, thank you. 11, inquiries by members. Councillor DeRosier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At our last meeting of council, I inquired into the absence of Elmer at our recent regional meeting. Our CAO stated that the municipality did not receive an invite from the provincial office, and Mayor Cook had offered to look into this. Can council please receive the update regarding this matter?
I did look into it, and we did receive an invitation through county email to me personally. Unfortunately, my computer was not working. I mean, it seems like a lame excuse, but that's the truth. My computer was not working, so I did not see the invitation until Councilor DeRosier asked about it, so I checked. So it was one of those things that happens, but we did receive an invitation. Anyone else? Seeing none? Okay. Statements and committee reports. Councilor DeRosier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to highlight an event currently taking place in our region, the Great Beginnings Secondary School Art Exhibition at the St. Thomas Elgin Public Art Center. This exhibition brings together student artwork from across Elgin County, including our own East Elgin Secondary School, where 31 talented students have their work on display. The exhibition is a fantastic showcase of their creativity, skill, and the unique perspectives of our local youth. The exhibition runs until May 2nd during regular gallery hours, and I would encourage members of the public to take the time to visit and support these emerging artists. Thank you.
Councilor Chapman.
I'm not sure if it's on. There we go. I just want to remind everyone that Earth Day is April 22nd, and we will be planting a tree in the, what do you call the new park? It's in Steen South, behind Corner Cupboard. Okay, it's going to be in Steen South, behind the Corner Cupboard. And also on May 2nd is the community cleanup, so we'll meet back at the band shell at 9:30? 9:30, yes.
Okay, anyone else? Councilor Oslach? Microphone, please.
I'm having a star night on Earth Day at Bear Park. I have a number of scopes out on there. It was clear. No rain, no snow.
When is it? No hail, and no nothing else? No.
22nd of April, next Wednesday.
Well, thank you for doing that. You've given education to a lot of people in Elmer about what's up there, including me. Anyone else? Okay. Report of the mayor, not really a report. I just want to remind everyone, or kind of a date, that an organization called the Volunteer Elgin has resurrected itself, and one of our own, Susie, is on that board or committee or whatever we call it, and they're doing a volunteer fair between April the 20th and the 25th, and on April the 24th, Friday, April the 24th, East Elgin Community Complex is hosting, I guess, a display and a little bit to eat and stuff like that to explain what's happening, right? So go out if you can. That's April the 24th, Friday. I don't see a time. You have a time?
Thank you, Your Worship. The display will be at the East Elgin Community Complex on Friday, the 24th, between 1 and 3, and then the large volunteer Elgin event will be held at the St. Thomas Main Library branch. on the 25th, starting at 10 a.m.
All right, okay, thank you for that information, all right. Are there any notices of motion? Seeing none. We should return to the closed session, so we have a resolution to do that.
The council now recess and return to closed session at 8:13 PM.
Mover and seconder, Councilor DeRosa, Councilor Rahi, all those in favor, and that's carried. There will be a brief recess. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. We have resolutions coming out of closed.
That council rise from a meeting closed to the public at 8:28 PM and reports the following. The council received for information, Director of Legislative Services and Clerk Report 15-26, closed session companion report to Clerk 14-26, and Chief Administrative Officer Report 22-26, update on potential land sale, and that council provided confidential direction to the Chief Administrative Officer.
Mover and seconder, Councillor Chapman and Councillor Oslach. All those in favor? As carried. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen and councillors.
The
We have to
council do
adjourn
now
to
adjourn at 8:29 PM.
mover and seconder, Councillor DeRosier, Deputy Mayor Barber. All those in favor? Carried. Now, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.